Hey everyone, welcome back. I got inspired to do today's video after seeing a post on Instagram, a girl that I follow that specializes in being polished, in etiquette, in sharing information, and in sharing tips to remain classy, remain presentable. And she shared one, and many people on the comments were like, oh my god, I can't believe I don't do this. This is genius. But I already did it. So I thought maybe I should do a video with a few of the maybe strange but very useful habits that I keep to keep polished that perhaps you guys haven't considered or haven't thought of, and that might help you to make your chic life a little bit easier. So let's begin with tip number one, which is steaming my items of clothing right before wearing them. I know that a lot of people, when they wash their clothes, they press them or they steam them and they put them away. I have found through the years that, especially if you have a very full closet like I do, or if you have to fold things like I do, that step of pressing and of steaming done before you wear those clothes, so before storing them, isn't as effective because they do get some creases in your wardrobe if things are kind of mushed in. If you have to fold them, you will get the creasing as well. So to kind of save myself time and make sure that the clothes are as presentable as possible, as close to when I'm going out as possible, I just store them away after I wash them, and then when I am going to wear those clothes is when I'm going to steam them. I am very partial to steaming because I find that it is very quick, very easy, and works for like 99% of the items in my wardrobe. If I'm going to wear something like a shirt or something that is in more substantial fabric, I'll use an iron, but most of the time I'll just steam it. It takes me 2 minutes and I feel like it looks better that way and makes things a little bit faster and a little bit easier as well. Second thing that I do is to wipe the soles of my shoes after each use. You guys know that me and my feet, we don't get along. We hate each other for some reason. I don't like those little residues that will eventually, after a few wears, stay on the soles of your shoes. So what I do to avoid all of that stress and animosity, I will take wet wipes and I'll wipe the soles of my shoes internally until they look pristine and clean, and then I'll use either a little towel or some tissues to take off the excess moisture just so that it doesn't react with the leather or the surface of the soles. And I find that doing this not only keeps your shoes clean and kind of odor free, but they also extend the life of your shoes. Third thing that I do is sleep in a bun, or at least with my bangs kind of clipped up. This is not my hair, this is styled hair. So, you know, I wish this was my natural hair, but it isn't. I have found that for my hair that looks very creased whenever I wake up, so if I sleep on this side, I'll usually get, you know, a rat's nest right here. So by putting it either in a very loose bun, it doesn't have to be very tight because, as I said, my hair really does crease, but something really loose with a few pins, or just by clipping the front part of my hair and going to sleep like this. In the morning, it looks a bit more preserved in terms of the styling. So you don't have to do as much, you don't have to style as often, you are keeping the quality of your hair, you're still looking presentable. So it's just one less step that you have to add to your beauty routine to look good. Some people will wear like little silk caps, which I've never tried because I do get very hot and I feel like I wouldn't be able to sleep with it. I have also tried silk pillow covers. That helps a little bit, but not enough to keep at least my hair looking good. So this little trick does the trick. Something that I have talked about in my underwear video because I have done a video talking about underwear to look polished, to look seamless. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it here. I've mentioned this, but I think it deserves re-mentioning, especially now that we're going into fall winter. I always wear a contact layer with whatever I am wearing in terms of knits, in terms of cardigans. If I'm wearing a top that is a little bit more covered, I will always have a base layer. I'll even do this with shirts in fall winter. I'll do this with blouses as well. It allows me to wear them more than once before putting them in the wash. The washing machine, it's not really great for the fibers, especially of knits. So if you want to preserve your clothes as much as possible, do and try to wear them more than once. I cannot just have that knit or that wool close in contact with my body. So having that layer will prevent sweat from transferring, will also give you kind of a smoothing effect underneath. So if you're wearing a bra or if you're wearing something that you don't want to show, having a layer in between will kind of help not making that visible. It's also a layer of warmth, so it really comes in handy whenever it starts getting a little bit chillier and you don't want to bulk up in coats. It doesn't have to look pretty, it doesn't have to be expensive, it just has to fit you properly, be fine enough that it's not detectable, and be something that you can wear with multiple types of tops. And speaking of preserving the quality of your clothes, something that I do every time I wash my clothes is use delicate soap in a delicate cycle, unless they're really, really dirty or it's a very hardy material that won't really benefit from that type of wash. But again, 95% of the time I'll be using that technique. And I never use a dryer to dry my clothes. My American followers might be shocked by this because I know how common it is to use a dryer in the US. But just like washing your clothes too much on a washing machine can take a toll on their quality and their aspect, using a dryer has that same effect. I totally get it, using it in a pinch, maybe you really need those clothes dry and you put them in the dryer, totally get that, but I don't have that habit. I also have a dual purpose machine, so it's a washer dryer, and I find that the dryer just doesn't even do a great job of doing the drying. So at the end of the day, you're paying more electricity bills, you're having to wait for the cycle to finish, it's always super long, and the clothes don't even come off completely dry. So I don't see the point. I always use a drying rack. I live in a very small apartment and I still manage to find a little space to open up my drying rack whenever I have to dry something out. In the summertime, the heat will help with that, and in winter time, if you have a radiator or something like that, the air will be a little bit drier and a little bit warmer, and you will get that drying effect as well. So I don't find that I need a proper dryer to dry my clothes. They kind of keep their shape and keep their form. There's no pilling. It just makes a huge difference. And I think it's because of the washing and drying techniques that I use. And last but not least is to keep an emergency kit at work. I carry very small bags because I am prepared in my workplace. So I don't have to carry around a bunch of stuff in my commute. I know that when I get to work, if I need something, it's going to be there for me. This wouldn't be as useful if you work in a shared space or if you have to move around a lot for work. But if you have a dedicated space, a dedicated desk where you know you can leave your things, just make sure you have your kind of ride or die items that you cannot go without. In my case, in my little kit, I have floss, toothpaste, and brush. I think that having dirty teeth after lunch is one of the most unpleasant feelings in the world, so I make sure to brush my teeth after every meal. I also have very few but very useful items of makeup. In my case, it's lipstick, blush, and concealer, because these are the things that kind of fade away from my makeup as the day goes on. So I have just an extra one at work because I can reapply it without having to redo my whole makeup. I also have compeed pads, like those blister pads, and band-aids. I hate it when I buy a new pair of shoes that I want to like show off at the office, but of course they're brand new, so they will destroy my feet even before I get to the office. So knowing that I have those blister pads just gives me a bit of a relief. And then when I get there, I apply them and I can wear my shoes without pain and focus on doing my job. That really, really helps. And the band-aids, you never know when someone's gonna get cut. If there's a little incident, it's better to have it than not. I also have some perfume, like a little sample just to, you know, freshen up. A few meds that I know are more frequent. So something for a headache, something for a cramp, something for a tummy ache, just those medications that are really easy to take and that are going to solve a problem in a flash. Feminine products, safety pins, because you never know, something might rip, maybe your sleeve is falling and showing your bra. So just by adding a little safety pin to these problematic areas will again kind of take care of a problem that would be annoying you all day long, and now you can focus on the task that you're having to do. Some wet wipes, because I am very clumsy and I tend to make things dirty. It's also great if you're eating something, if you maybe spill coffee on your desk, and just, you know, wipe it clean very easily, no harm done. And a Tide stain pan, because again, I'm clumsy, so of course I'm going to get all kinds of stains on my clothes during the day, and I don't want to seem like a crazy kind of let myself go, don't care about my appearance person. So just by having that Tide pan works really hard. Is it a little OCD? Maybe, but I believe in being prepared, because whenever someone has an emergency, they'll come to my desk and like, Mari, do you have a band-aid? Mari, do you have a tampon? Everybody feels safer when there's an emergency kit available. So make sure you're prepared, make sure you have the items that are useful for you, and you won't have to stress about the little emergencies of life. This is it, everyone. Hopefully you found this helpful. I don't know if you guys have any other kind of underrated, unknown, peculiar tips that you would like to share. Leave them down below in the comments. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see each other again next time. Bye bye.